Yo, what's going on? What's happening? It's crazy. Normally I would, be talking about, these car break-ins, and it would be in Atlanta, not in Charlotte. So for those that don't know, there were 90 car break-ins into this one apartment complex, one apartment building. You know what I'm saying? A couple of days ago, an apartment building was called Camden Apartments, located in Dilworth, and everybody is shocked and amazed that 90 cars got broken into, and they actually had, security and the whole, buzz yourself in, the code and all that stuff, and the criminals snuck in, had their way, and they broke into cars. They took Apple Watches, TVs, etc. And in the Charlotte area, there's been a total of 180 car break-ins, these past few weeks. Now, one of the persons that were breaking into these cars that's got a record, as well as he's a teenager, he's a minor, turned himself in. And they're looking for a young lady, while I guess she was breaking into one car, she got into another car and stole that car and drove off. They have a picture of her, and they're still looking for her, trying to find her. So apparently, these car break-ins are caused by teenagers, young black teenagers. And, of course, I could go on and spill on how, these teenagers ain't this and that and blah, 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 blah. And you all will agree with me straight up. And then we can get, in debt about how the parents ain't worth nothing and they're not raising their children the right way, and how the parents need to be charged the same crime that the teenagers are tried for. In other words, both of them need to be in jail. I could go on that spill for days. But I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to throw those young black teenagers under the bus. I'm not. Because I don't know what their circumstances is. Either way, I don't know what their circumstances is. And what I mean by either way, I can look at it like this, like busted. What if they was breaking into cars because of the fact that they weren't able to feed themselves? That they live in a impoverished area where they're not able to eat. Their mother's not in the picture. Their father's not in the picture. And they got to fend for themselves. Or I could take it another way. Maybe they were breaking into cars because it was the fun thing to do. And that they want to buy Jordans and they want to get high and all the rest of that stuff. And if we were to say that, then how they learn these things? Oh, I know, by the music that they listen to. The rappers are teaching them how to be negative. And if the rappers are teaching them how to be negative, then the rappers should be held accountable for the negative lyrics that they put out, as well as the record label that signs the rappers. And let's go a little further. What about the visuals? What about the rap artists that put out music videos where they're talking about shooting and they got guns up in the air? When they're talking about smoking weed or doing drugs or selling drugs, and you see them do that. What about that? Yeah, let's hold everybody accountable. The videographer, the person that recorded the video, the music video, the person that edited that video, and the person that backs the project for that rap song to come out. But see, you know what you're gonna say? You're gonna say, man, Langston, you reaching? No, I'm not. I can make justifiable excuses on why these children are doing what they do. And if you beg to differ, then guess what? You're a racist. Because see, every time we hear about Ricky, Scott, Jeremy, Jeffrey, right? Walk inside a school and shoot and kill people with an AR-15, we make excuses behind their actions. We'll blame it on the video games, the violent video games that's out that they play. We'll say that that kid has mental problems and we'll get that kid help. But when it comes to our black kids, they're just plain old criminals. And that's not fair. And I'm tired of throwing our children under the bus. And I'm tired of them throwing our children in jail. Because see, when Jeremy kills 15, 16, 17 students in a high school, they get a hit on the wrist. But our children don't. And it's a shame. Because when you dig a little deeper, instead of arresting these kids, dig a little deeper and see what background they come from. What's the problem? Yo, my son, a couple of years back, no lie, he started wilding out. And it was like, yo, it was uncontrollable. Like, what I mean by uncontrollable, like, yo, like, why are you doing this? What are you trying? What are you doing? Why are you doing all of this shit? I'm not gonna get into my personal business, my family business, but he was wilding. Lo and behold, you know what he wanted? You know what he wanted? He wanted some attention. And the minute that I started showing him attention, he stopped all of the bullshit. Some of these kids just need something simple as a hug. This world is cruel. And nobody's there to help them. And you wonder why they don't give a fuck. You wonder why they do what they do. They looking for love in gangs. They're looking for love or attention in drugs. They're using these vices to try to get some type of love, some type of acceptance. And the reason why I know is because I was once young. I was young once, and as well as you were too. And you knew what it was like to be rejected. For those that grew up in a single parent household, you knew what it was like. For those that were young, and your school teacher or the people that were living around your block or on your corner telling you wasn't shit and you wasn't gonna amount to nothing, you know what it's like. So why is it then, you know what I'm saying, that when we become adults, we seem to forget shit? Kids these days had the odds stacked against them. They have weaponized our music. And these record labels, it's crazy. They got drill music, people shooting and killing each other in Chicago, New York, Florida, everywhere. And these Caucasoids are making money off of our black children's death. And the ones that survive, the young black men that survive off of this drill music spinning around the block and all the rest of that shit, they end up in jail. But these Caucasoids, these record labels, these CEOs, owners of these record labels, record companies, their children don't have to worry about that shit. While our children are locked up in privatized prisons, working for IBM, making 6 cents an hour, their kids are at Yale. And before they go to Yale, they go to private schools. And I'm trying to understand, till this day, why is it that there's some schools that are private and others are public? I want to know what the hell they teaching their kids in these private schools, because it's obvious that is a different curriculum compared to the public ones. The public schools. If we're going to hold our children accountable for their actions, then we need to hold everyone accountable for theirs. Because it's not like these kids are learning this negative shit on their own. And that's real talk. Everybody needs to go to jail. There shouldn't be no grand theft auto. I play Grand Theft Auto. I used to have it. I'll never play it again. And they're coming out with a new one, I think, next year. That's even probably worse than the other ones. And for those that never played it, you get to sell drugs on there. You get to run over people. You get to shoot people. I never participated in playing the game out. I just would get on there and shoot and kill people and fuck broads and shit. Sell drugs and all the rest of that shit. And I know what you're going to say. Well, it's a parental guidance and such on the label. You think these kids can't get past that? Let me just hear me out for real. We shouldn't have none of this negative shit out for anyone. For no one. We shouldn't have movies that have sex in it. We shouldn't have movies, unrealistic movies, with shooting and killing each other. I could see if there were like real life stories and they had a meaning behind it. But not just movies where a guy gets up and starts shooting and killing people. Our society is sick. And we think that a bunch of kids supposed to be sane, where their odds are stacked against them. Specific, the ones that I'm talking about are minorities. And oftentimes we want to blame the parents. Let me tell you something, man. My mom's had to work. Yeah, I ran away from home when I was 16 years old. I used to skip school all the time. And my dumb ass dropped out in the 12th grade. Went back, got my adult high school diploma and went on to college and dropped out from there. But I'm saying, at the end of the day, I dropped out of school. My mom's, it got to the point my mom's couldn't control me. And the reason why she couldn't control me is because she didn't have the time. While I was out there wilding, she had to work. She had to what? Bring home the bacon. She had to pay the bills. You understand that? So now we got to get into who's the cause behind that. Because you want to blame the parent, but at the end of the day, the parent is out there working. He or she don't know what's going on. There's a thing called hyperinflation. When now eggs ship today may be $9, tomorrow it'll be $20. In the next week it'll be $30. You got parents running in that gerbil wheel trying to keep up with hyperinflation. And of course a gerbil wheel doesn't go anywhere. We oftentimes blame it on the parent. Or we'll just blame it on, regular folks, on the reason why things ain't right in their life. Never blaming it on the politicians. Never blaming it on the president of the United States. Kids need to be in school, and after school, they need to have after school programs. Some of these kids don't have food to eat. There should be programs for that. Because you know what y'all did? Y'all killed the Black Panther movement. And that's what the Black Panther movement was all about, feeding the babies. Providing medical assistance to our communities. Y'all destroyed that. J. Edgar Hoover with your motherfucking Black Messiah, Operation Black Messiah. Y'all the one who put the crack into our neighborhoods. That's a known fact. But now you want to blame everything on us. But the money that the president, as well as Congress, House of Representatives, senators send over to Ukraine, places like Ukraine and Israel should be here. How are you trying to take care of somebody else's house when your house ain't in order? It's beyond me. And I'm trying to understand this. Don't give me, seriously, in the comment section of this video, don't give me some lame ass excuse that you learned from another politician. Straight up. But I'm saying what's really good. Like, why is it that we have hyperinflation? And don't give me all of this, well, you know, excuse me, the Democratic Party gave out stimulus checks and this, that, so forth, and blah, 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 blah. That's all rhetoric. I've heard that 1,000 times. I heard that 1,000 times. It don't make sense to me how prices are going up while our politicians that we so-called voted for, we know that's another conversation. We know popular vote don't count worth shit. So I don't even know why the fuck y'all vote. Why y'all go to the damn polls and shit. But at the end of the day, we so-called elected them while the prices of food, essential things, food, clothes, cars, food, shelter, and clothing going up, the politicians are sending the money across seas. I'm trying to understand it. I'm trying to understand it. And they'll say some dumb shit like, well, you know, we produce what was it, 1 million or 2 million jobs, you know, new jobs this year. Yeah, but how much do they pay? Because I can tell you, I'm in Target parking lot right now, and I can tell you, I know people will sit there and deny it as they're coming out when I talk to them, but I can tell you, all these motherfuckers in here faking the funk. 'Tis the season to be jolly my ass. Most of those people are probably, if I go in there right now, which I am later on, I go in there right now, most of these people are paying with their credit cards. And that's real talk. There ain't nobody got no money. America's broke. Americans are broke. You busy sending money out to Ukraine and Israel, and you with $1 billion in the deficit. You owe people. You owe countries. Come on, man. Come on, let's be real. I'm talking about the real common folks. Real common folks ain't really celebrating Christmas this year. Tommy, either you want the new bike or you want the lights to be on. You pick. Motherfuckers are putting goddamn bills paid in full under the Christmas tree. This year, can't afford no PS5 and a flat screen TV and a this and a that and that. Can't. So you want to throw, seriously, and I know you ain't gonna look at it like that, and I don't care. You want to throw victims under the bus, but not the victimizer. You gotta really think about this thing. Who creates an environment where a mom, a single parent, or parents have to go to work and they can't tend to their child? And the child has to go out there and break into cars to get whatever they want to get. Oh. I'm tired of blaming it on us. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of throwing our kids under the bus. Y'all know good and goddamn well that the music of today, which is hip hop, rap, controls these kids. These record labels know exactly what they're doing. And nobody's held accountable. Not the film director that directs that pornographic, violent, drug usage videos, rap music videos. Not the editor that edits that rap music video. Not the producer. Not the CEO that okays for the project to be put out. Not the record label that signs these kids to 360 deals and owns their image, as well as their lyrics. Nobody's held accountable for that. See, it's okay for our kids to go to jail and work for pennies while their kids are going to Yale. And that's crazy to me. You know, King Leopold used to be a kid too, right? And look what he grew up to be. You know, Jeffrey Dahmer used to be a kid, right? And look what he grew up to be. I could go down and list the names of serial killers, mass murderers, all of that your race is known for, notoriously known for. Our kids breaking a few cars, steal some watches and some TVs, now they criminals. They the scum of the earth. Not Jeffrey that goes into school and shoots up everybody. Nah, our kids. And you know what? Word, this is my word. I don't give a flying about those people that had their cars broken into. I don't care. Don't. Because you don't care about my kids. You don't care what's to happen from these kids. Let's just say they're fortunate. They were raised by two parents. You know what I'm saying? But now they got these records. They got these records now. They're criminals now. Hell, they may be felons. They may get charged felony charges. So either way, their lives are ruined. Can't vote when they get older as they become an adult. Can't live in an apartment complex in some houses. They're banned from the quote-unquote American dream. That seems like it's a system to me that's set up and designed for you to fail. Let's get them at an early age. And then, you know, under the 13th Amendment, if I'm not mistaken, you are a slave when you are part of the prisons. When you go to prison, you are a legal slave. So let's put violence and sex, let's teach them how to be criminals through their music. Let's popularize this music so they can go out and commit crimes, and then we can lock their asses up. That way, we can legally own them as slaves. Sounds like a system perfectly designed to lock us niggas up. Young black men and women up. But oh no, Langston's a conspiracy theorist. And America's just so beautiful. Our government wouldn't do that. You see, you look at too many of them movies, read too many of them black books, them black liberation theology books. You see, that's what they call them. You always think that there's a spooky man. There's a man behind the curtain and all the rest of that shit. Nah, it's just some ignorant ass teens. You okay? That's fine. You believe in your narrative. Run with it. If that makes you sleep well at night, keep it. Cause one day, I don't know the exact day, and neither am I religious a religious man, and I don't believe in karma. But one day, and it's coming pretty damn soon, all you motherfuckers will be held accountable for what you have done to us in the light as well as the dark. And you may say, well, Langston, you saying that because your car ain't never gotten broken into, and if you did it out, my car did break in. I had a car that got broken into a couple years ago, and yes, it cost money. It cost me money for me to replace that car, that window. It did, and I felt some kind of way. But let me tell you something. If I knew who did it and it was a young black boy, and I had my way, like if the court system said, yo, you could do whatever you want to do with him, I would have had him clean up my shit, and I would have had him work the money off the pay for my window to be fixed. And while in the process of me having him work the money off, I would have taught him. Like, it's not right for you to do that, man. Look what happened. I got to pay this money and this and that and so forth. Like, yo, where you come from? What's going on? Is your mom? I would have asked questions. I would have tried to figure out what was the real problem. And if he would have been like, yo, man, I apologize, man. I was just trying to eat. Yo, my man, listen, man, I ain't got much. I got kids and everything, but listen, like, yo, every now and then, like at least once or twice out of the week, man, come through. I try to get you something. That's what the black community is supposed to be about. That's what the black church is supposed to be about too. But we up there preaching that fucking white supremacist goddamn sermon, the preaching in those black churches. And the black kids, they done signed their life over to the devil and this and that, so forth, and blah, 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 blah. Man, shut up. You signed yourself over to the devil with your fucking white Jesus on the damn wall. Even though, if you were to go based on the King James Version of the Holy Bible in Revelations chapter 1, verse 14 through 15, I think that's the verses. I may be mistaken, but you all know it goes like this: hair like lamb's wool, feet like burnt brass, and eyes flame as fire. That ain't no white man. That's not a description of a Caucasian. If you were to follow the biblical story or the King James Version of the Holy Bible, I ain't gonna do it. I ain't gonna do it. I'm not gonna throw our children under the bus anymore. We need to find out what's going on with these kids, man. Stop giving up on them, because somebody gave up on us. That's real talk. You know that's real. You know that's real. You can feel it. You can feel that. You know what I'm saying? You know that's real. You know that somebody gave up on you. Don't give up on your kids, man. Don't give up on our kids. Other than that, I'm out.